Okay, and we'll just go straight into it. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. And my visual and audios, because I think we were getting a lot of lag before too.
Yep.
So I couldn't tell if you could hear me or not.
All good. We are we are streaming now, so
Okay. I still don't have your video, Dave.
that's okay.
Okay.
But
All right.
we are live now, so
Okay. Sweet.
we've got
All right.
a whole bunch of things jumped around. So we are live. Doesn't look. Let me just check. What have we got? Yep, we don't have anybody in just at the moment.
Okay.
Let me
I've
just
scared
go.
them all away.
Yeah. Let me just ping them again.
I still have lag between us and YouTube. Is that normal?
That's normal. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. So since I'm using YouTube to gauge your reactions, all my I will gauge everything about 3 minutes after it happens.
Yep.
All right, so we're gonna proceed with. All right.
Oh, when I said that we're live, this is all
Uh-huh.
going. This is all streaming to YouTube now.
Okay. Yeah, I figured that.
We are live.
Okay.
Cool. Yes. Fantastic. Okay. We will make this work.
Okay.
It will be awkward and uncomfortable, but we've done
Okay.
it before.
Okay.
It's all good. Okay. Yes. So looking smooth. That's all of us. Thanks, Scott. Yes, we definitely look smooth. So, is video better for Jay? Is audio better? Let's get Jay saying a few
Yeah.
things.
Yeah. How's the audio now, guys?
Uh, Jim says very
No
technical
response.
difficulties. They are indeed. And Josh says much milder. So you will notice that I have flipped around, and then I am now the right way around because Discord isn't flipping me. I'm coming direct from my video camera here. Jay is coming through from Facebook Messenger video call. Jay is 5x5, says Josh. Awesome. So
All right.
great. And as you will have heard already, Jay's problem now is that he can't see me and he's reacting to my facial expressions on a 30-second lag.
Yeah.
I'll try to keep them fairly like happy and smiling.
Yeah.
Just don't say anything that will make me react otherwise.
Yeah.
But no, thank you very much, folks, for being with us. Jim says it's all better, looking smooth. That's what I said, yes. And Jim says sounds good here. So
All right.
very cool. I'm glad we got that sorted. And
Likewise.
absolute apologies, everybody, for that. But we are good now. So let's jump into the show. Hooray! Cool. So Jay, you were talking about. Let's go back to the start of what you've been up to for the last week or so for hobby.
Yeah, so I've been I've been working a lot, so I haven't got a whole lot of hobby time. I continue to just chip away at I'm working on Jake's favorite Space Marine tank, the Falchion
Okay.
super heavy destroyer. Yeah, I showed you at Adepticon, I think.
Yep.
And that thing's not plastic yet, so it's taking a lot of work.
Right. Fantastic resin.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And then I play in a weekly Black Crusade game, the old Fantasy Flight RPG,
Okay.
and I broke my buddy's model for that IDM, but I broke his model, so I've been fixing that.
Right.
And then, so that's this guy that I showed. Hopefully he's not as pixelated this time.
Right. So he's
Yeah, he has no head. Yeah,
he's
the
a
headless horseman now.
Chaos Marine on a
Yeah,
on a
on a
juggernaut.
juggernaut. Yeah.
Wow, that's I. I think whenever I've talked to anybody about the like the 40K role playing stuff, it's all like, well, Space Marines are incredibly powerful, so you really shouldn't role play as a Space Marine.
Yeah.
Is this one where everybody's a Space Marine, right?
Yeah, everyone's a Space Marine, and it's worse because everyone's a Chaos Space Marine.
Okay.
Yeah. But so it's cool though because like it's better. I think it's better to be Chaos Space Marines than regular Space Marines because all regular Marines do is destroy and like they solve every problem like it's a nail. Whereas Chaos Marines have to work together, and that's like the hardest thing that Marines would ever have to do.
Right. Okay.
So yeah, you have to like build things and like because you're against this like insurmountable foe in the Imperium. It's just this giant engine of war that's undefeatable. So the Chaos Marines, you have to like build your forces and team up and have all those politics of the war bands working together. So I think that's cooler than playing just regular Space Marines.
Okay. That's a super interesting take.
Yeah.
Very cool. I hadn't realized that, but yeah, nice.
Yeah. At least we played Deathwatch and we played Black Crusade, and we like Black Crusade a lot more.
Right. Cool. That's good. Well, I've been just recently. I painted up a whole bunch of the Dragonforge design bases that I got through. So a whole bunch of tech deck and the new ship interior bases. So just so you know, Jay, I'm just holding these up to the camera at the moment.
Okay.
I had a bunch of the 40mm bases as well for a squad of Raven Guard Tartarus Terminators. And when I was preparing to take them off their bases, I don't know if you can see, well, you can't see it, Jay, but folks can see the green stuff there for the front of the boots.
Mm-hmm.
So essentially, I had forgotten
green stuff. Those.
Yeah, I'd forgotten that the Terminators themselves were resin, and they'd been pinned to resin bases previously. That I was breaking them off because I got them from somewhere ages ago. So when I did all my cutting and prizing and that kind of thing, when they came off, some of them came off without the front of their feet. So I had to resculpt those and get those in place. But yeah, so I've got those in place. I've got guys like my Forge Lord is now on his base. I'm just going to finish off a little bit of painting there for him, which is good. But I've got the other roughly like 80 models based now.
That Forge Lord looks great. It looks really good.
Oh, cool. Thank you.
Yeah. I want to tell Scott that not to get the wrong impression, like the Chaos campaign is full of the same kind of lore. It's like they're horrible, horrible people. So.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. The other thing that I'm working on is getting excited. I've got a sprue of the Euclidean Star Striders from Kill Team, and I'm going to be mixing them with some Enforcer bits, some of the Necromunda pieces, so the Housegrind Military Attaché, Lady Herrera, or however you pronounce her name, Hera, to make a cool, funky sort of bodyguard squad for her to play in Necro.
That's my favorite kind of 40K models to see and work on is like all the just human weird like that kind of stuff.
Oh, the guys,
like the the Star Striders and Rogue Trader crews and stuff like that.
Yeah, so it should be fun. I'll probably work on those over the next month or so. But yes, that's what I've been working on, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I also have been working on my Infinity stuff as well. Okay. Yeah, I have one of those or two of those I can show as well. I've just been playing a lot of the old out of print. Well, old out of print faction.
Yep, just pull her back a little bit.
Too low close. Yeah, there we go.
There we go. Nice. We do have some photos from Jay as well, so it would all be minis held up the camera.
Yeah,
it'll be good. But excellent. I think I'm just going to quick look at. Oh, I just realized as well. Okay. Mm. Oh, I'm hitting the wrong button there. But when we get to the thing, display capture, there we go. Let me move you in there. I'm going to change some properties, see if I can do this on the fly. Oh, man. Yes. Do that on the fly. How about that? Check that out, people.
Nice,
nice. You can't see it. It's just working behind the scenes, but I'm just adding another video capture device. I want to add the existing there. And working with OBS and Discord and Facebook Messenger and video cameras and all that sort of stuff makes for some interesting times. There we go. Okay. Hooray! That'll both be working there. So Josh says, I saw the Thunderhawk reflection in the closet door and thought it was a dinosaur skeleton. Yeah. Not quite. Is that a thunder? Oh my god, it is a Thunderhawk.
Yeah, it is a Thunderhawk. Yeah.
Is that for your Minotaurs or?
Yeah, it is for my Minotaurs. They're all back there in the this way. I think I need to do.
Oh right.
Yeah.
Awesome. That looks great.
Yeah. So they're all back there. The first company and the third company.
Okay.
And a Thunderhawk without the canopy because it's the old Thunderhawk before they redid the kit.
Okay.
So it has the old super fragile resin canopy, and it just every time I play it, it breaks.
Okay. Have you are you planning to cut that from acrylic?
Yeah, I am actually.
Okay, cool. How did I know? How did I guess? Awesome. Well, cool. One of the things I didn't say up front, I said that you're Warsenal. So Warsenal is... well, how about you describe Warsenal for us? Tell us a little bit about your business.
It is a miniature wargaming terrain and accessory manufacturing company.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So that's the short story. Tell us the longer story. Or should I... First up, I will... flick to the first photo I'm going to show, which is the amusing one of you with the box on your head.
Okay.
So while we have that on display, I'm guessing that's in the workshop, is it?
Yeah, that is the shop.
Excellent.
Yeah. I don't know why I think I played like that old game Dynasty Warriors or something, and for some reason that looked like a Chinese or a Japanese samurai helmet in that box. So
right, maybe a little bit taller than the standard Japanese, but
that's that was the picture my wife wanted you to use for
for the promo shot.
Yeah, the Facebook promo.
I'm glad we saved it for this. I think it's all good.
Yeah.
But so while we're all enjoying that photo, how about you tell us a little bit more about Warsenal and your role, the development of the company, and
So it started about let's see, I think we're 11 years old now. I actually wasn't the founder of Warsenal. I came on very early in like the first year, and before that, the company made markers, and my former partner was the owner. And then I came on as a partner and started designing the terrain, and then it just kind of snowballed from there. And you just released more terrain, and then here we are. 11 years later, still releasing more terrain and trying to keep it that way, trying to keep it kind of manageable where I can continue designing terrain and releasing that, and trying to stay in the art side of it as the business side tries to slowly eat away at more of my time. Yeah, it's not actually slowly. It's like a ravenous consuming, like
consuming beast.
Yeah.
It's yeah, I can definitely appreciate that that the business side of things sometimes can be a little overwhelming, for sure. But I would there we go. Let's start taking a look through some of the other photos that we've got here from you. I'm going to show a picture you sent through, which is kind of our first collaboration, I guess.
Oh, that's a great place to start, Dave.
Yep. So in 2016, I started consulting for Call Me or Not on Dark Age and Wrath of Kings. And one of the things that we were missing a lot in Dark Age and Wrath of Kings was sort of an environmental setting. There was a lot of background, there was a lot of lore about what had gone on in these worlds, but there were really no environmental images being shown. So people were playing over all sorts of different terrain. There was nothing that really helped it sort of stand out as its own particular world. So you could play on 40k terrain, you could play with aquarium plants, you could play with carved foam hills. People were using stuff from all sorts of places and games and that sort of thing. But you and I and Bill chatted about the kinds of things that we could possibly create to start to set the scene for Dark Age. And Dark Age, for folks who don't know, it's a sorry, Scott says, does Warsenal sell kits? Pre-made terrain, spill the beans. Yes, they sell kits.
Yeah.
So laser cut, MDF, and acrylic kits. But these ones here for Dark Age, the Dark Age is a post-apocalyptic setting, or it's actually it's really an apocalyptic setting. The terrible things are still going on, 500 years after the apocalypse part. But not a lot of new stuff has been built over the previous 500 years. So everything sort of has a post-apocalyptic feel, that ramshackle, that cobbled together kind of feel. But we had to try and do it without the standard kind of Earth-based look. So I certainly didn't want to have any corrugated iron.
Yeah.
Which is a very strong trope in post-apocalyptic scenery.
Yeah. I tried to. I found that all really interesting, the materials, and so I tried to with that set keep it. I mean, I don't know how far I got away from it, but I tried to keep it as like the materials and the shapes and stuff like kind of unrecognizable. Or I mean, I think I have some tires in this picture, so
sure.
I agonized over the tires because I was like, it would be better if there was no tires. But the tires were cool, and they just looked cool laying against stuff.
Yep.
But I tried to make them like weird shapes, at least like big tires, so it wasn't as
and all the other elements being, as I said, like, not really recognizable. Like you couldn't instantly go, okay, this is from that, or this is from the other thing. You can see those curved rib shapes. You're like, oh, I wonder where they're from. And maybe they're from storage or shipping containers, or from spaceships, or what have you. So Dark Age is set on a distant planet. So spaceships would have been sent there. Some of them would have crashed. Some would have been left behind in the Exodus. But
the other side of that building actually has like a giant spaceship wing on it.
Yep, it does. It looks super cool. Sorry, just quickly. Scott says, Dave, when you consulted for Dark Age, didn't you insist that they called it the Pocky Clips? Lots of football shoulder pads too, I bet. Sadly, Scott, I did not have the opportunity to increase the number of sort of football shoulder pads or shoulder pads made out of tires. There are a number of those in there, but I didn't have the opportunity to increase those, unfortunately. In the before time. Yep.
Yeah. The long time ago.
Oh, Lisa's here. Hi, Lisa. Sorry, miss saying hi to Brian, to Josh. We've got everybody. Yep. Cool. Yeah. Lisa, I love Dark Age. Great aesthetic. Definitely. And I think the work that...
really good aesthetic.
Yeah. I think the work that you did with this was super cool. That sort of wagon that we've got there was part of the some terrain that were designed for the release of the box game, the box set. So in the box set, I think we had a cardboard punch-out template that you could use as the wagon, or you could head to Warsenal and pick up the super cool kit. But
I like making that kit because it was the same thing. I was like really informed by. I really found it beneficial trying to avoid like recognizable earth shapes. So like with the kind of swooped up spiky front, I was trying to get as far away from like farmer wagon as you could get.
Yeah. Yep. No, I think you definitely did a great job of that. And it's one of the things that I really enjoy about, I've really enjoyed over your time with Warsenal, the things that you're able to do. A lot of us who have picked up MDF kits over the last 10, 15 years, we've ended up with a lot of very boxy shapes, a lot of very square shapes, a little bit of detailing, a little bit of etching, things that slot together in the corners. You stick a roof on them, and they're done. There's a lot of cubes and boxes. But one of the things I love about you that's fairly rare amongst MDF designers is breaking away from that and not being restricted by the idea, okay, I have this large flat panel of MDF. I have to make a large flat panel wall. You can still do that, of course, but it's not the way that you tackle the MDF or acrylic. What's your sort of thinking behind that?
I mean, I try and keep it looking as like I try and make it look as not like it's made as MDF as possible. And I like to use, like, you can use the flaws of the material kind of to your advantage. Like, instead of just having, because like the connection points is another big thing that you see a lot in MDF, is like where it builds and where it puts together and where it connects. And it's like, so I try and use those places to add detail instead of just like a assembly point. And then, like you said, like trying to incorporate round shapes, trying to incorporate angles, and trying to incorporate, like, because it's a restrictive medium. It's like really restrictive because ultimately you have to build like a 2D shapes into a 3D thing. Right. So, but like anywhere you can get away with it, you know, it's just way cooler to use interesting shapes and stuff like that, like architectural shapes and
One thing, the next image I'm going to bring up is it's one of the sort of in situ shots of part of the Cosmica colony set that you did. I love this one in particular. This is probably my favorite of all the non-Dark Age sets that you've done, because I bought a bunch of this stuff and used it for Dark Age terrain. Basically built it up and then stripped it back as if people had taken various elements of it to use to build things elsewhere. But also they might have still been living in parts of the torn apart buildings. But I think this particular picture gives us a great idea of that ability that you have to take things away from the boxy kind of look. We still got boxes.
Yeah.
But
which is funny because like one of the buildings is a complete square, but like you try and put as much non-square stuff on it, you know, because a square is a useful shape for like laying out your terrain and playing and stuff like that, and it's an efficient shape. But like try and get as much different surfaces, and then without freaking people out, because like the curves are a little harder to assemble and stuff like that on that set.
Yeah.
But I think they're worth it because visually,
Yeah.
I love that set.
Very different.
It has that 80s Ron Cobb kind of 80s science fiction aesthetic that I just adore.
Yeah. No, it's definitely super cool. Scott says that pick yells Borderlands to me.
Yeah, it does.
That's
an
MDF kit. That is indeed an MDF kit there, Scott. Definitely cool. And Josh said, I haven't done Dark Age since 05 or 06. Played a demo at Origins. 2x2 formed metal terrain boards. Oh my goodness, that sounds crazy.
Yeah.
Obviously, come on, games are not supporting Dark Age anymore. They haven't done it for a few years now, but the game is definitely still super cool. So if you're able to find some models and get stuck in, you should certainly have a go. But the next image I've got is the thing that really sold me on the Cosmic Colony is I've got the exploded view.
Oh yeah.
So I'm really excited about. I really love the way that you built the cube, or you built the rectangular prism, essentially framework, and then the different sides, the different panels that you could put on it, depending on what you wanted to have on there. Tell me about your thinking. What were you thinking about when you were designing this? What were you trying to do?
So there's a whole bunch of factors I consider with that set, and kind of all my sets. Is one, terrain is like inherently expensive to get, just because you need a lot of it. Well, at least for Infinity, you need a lot of it, but and it's really time consuming to build. And back then you had to paint everything. You still, I like to paint stuff still. So
yeah.
So you have to paint everything, and this stuff takes hours and hours to paint. And so part of what I'm trying to do is make it so that the terrain you get goes further, and then like can be built over time. And so in order to do that, like flexibility in how you put it on the table, and then flexibility in how you like kind of buy it or build it over time. Whereas like with a kit like this, you can get like this building, and then you have that building, and you assemble it and you paint it and you can play it. And then when you get another building, you can kind of connect that new Cosmica building onto that building.
Right.
And switch out the different facades. These are like the frame and all the facades and like the roofs. And that way, you can build the one terrain set can make like an infinite number of tables, and then you're getting a lot more value out of it. Not just your money, but also like your time investment a lot.
Okay,
too.
Cool. Yeah,
and it's just cool. It's like Legos, you get to like just pop it apart and build it a bunch of different ways.
Yep.
But it also gives the kits like a lot of expandability, like design wise too. Like I'm not like limited to my older designs as much. You can design new things that interact with the old things and are kind of modular and kind of build on up. And so it gives you more flexibility to change what you've already done.
Right.
Which is in with me designing, like these things take like years to design and release over time. So being able to not have stuff that's kind of doesn't function anymore with the things you've learned in designing later on is really valuable too.
Right. Cool. Yeah, I love I did love that flexibility. Of course, I wasn't building an infinity table, so I didn't have to have a lot of sort of compact details, and I didn't have to worry about pulling off a section so that I could play inside the building. So I think what I did for mine was I spent a lot of time. Well, I didn't spend a lot of time, but I affixed some parts of the building down, or a destroyed part of the roof, or a left off a side of the building, so you can access it and move through. I think some of them I embedded into sand drifts.
Mm-hmm.
So I had sand drifts coming up inside the building as well, and fixing a lot of things.
You should have put a picture of your stuff in here too, Dave.
That's cool. I might pop some pictures. I'll try and find some pictures of them and pop some pictures in the Facebook group.
Yeah, what I loved about what you did is you changed it too, which I feel like is kind of getting lost in the kind of new age of terrain. Because like when we all started, you had to build all your own terrain from like scratch. So now you can get all this awesome terrain. You can get like Warsenal terrain, you can get GW terrain, and it's all beautiful and awesome, and you paint it up. But I feel like people, or I like to see when people change it and adapt it, change the color scheme, tear it up, weather it,
Yeah.
Put sand dunes spraying into it and vines hanging off of it. I love that kind of stuff.
Yeah, no, it's definitely cool to be able to do that. But speaking of vines, this is funny because you didn't know what I had queued up next. It's from the I can never remember the name of
that's because Gutierrez names them all, and they're all named from different languages and different cultures.
Right.
This is the Alcazaba set.
Alcazaba. Okay, yeah. Alcazaba. This is for like the Hakaslam.
Yeah. This is the first. Yeah, this is the first building you've shown that I didn't paint as well.
Okay.
So this is by our now studio painter, Mr. Tom Shadle.
The famous Tom Shadle. For folks who have been around a long time, Tom used to go in the early days of the internet. Tom was Commander Y.
Yeah.
So if you have ever seen anything painted by Commander Y, that is Tom Shadle, the awesome painter. But no, this is great to see this. I think this is another example of the depth and the layers and the curves and the various shapes that you're able to get with your I guess mastery of MDF and acrylic.
Thanks.
Is what I put in there, but this looks fantastic. When did you guys work on this?
So this Alcazaba was, I think, probably 3 years ago. I think 3 years ago this set came out, and this is the bottom story of a 3-story building. It's not as modular a set as Cosmica, but it's got a little bit of the same principles where I'm trying to make you be able to get different uses out of it. So you can use it as just this kind of open air atrium, or you can put the roof directly on this, and it's a 1-story building with a roof, or you can put the second story on, and the story's stackable. You could do more than 2 stories, but then you're getting pretty into the ridiculously tall kind of spectrum. Yeah. Right. But then and then where you can use the second story as its own building, so that the stuff you have just kind of goes further, and you can use it in more ways.
Right.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah. I actually got my mom to garden the boxes in there because she's like a gardener. So
okay.
I was like, you need to plant all these little flowers in here for me.
Fantastic. Yeah. Did she have fun doing that, or?
Oh, she really did. Yeah, but then she got upset because she designed the flowers when you stack the second story, so that they all would be different colors, and then I fit with the story stacked the wrong way, and there's 2 purple bushes next to each other.
That's okay.
No one noticed until now.
Yeah. Next time you see this, make sure you ask about those purple flowers.
Yeah.
That's awesome. But the next photo, of course, I'm going to show the staircase, the spiral staircase.
Yeah, that's the hardest thing I think I ever had to design.
Excellent. So this is it's cut from
acrylic. 1/32 acrylic.
1/32. So that's just a little bit thinner than 1 millimeter.
Yeah.
Okay. Just
So it's
like a standard sheet of styrene, like plasticard
yeah,
styrene is
yeah,
like 1 millimeter, so just a little bit thinner than
yeah,
that.
yeah. It's like a quarter of the thickness of MDF.
Okay, radio. But that's when you're looking at that, and it's like, okay, all those shapes are all cut on a laser.
Yeah.
It's just amazing.
The tricky part with this is not only to design with the spiral and stuff, but I had to design it so that you didn't absolutely hate it to assemble it. So
Right.
like I just went. There's more iterations of that thing than anything I've ever designed, just because I would just build it and then it was just a pain in the ass. So I'd fix it and fix it and fix it, and it's just this iterative process of trying to knock out all the bugs.
Right.
And math. There was like math involved in that too. to like line up the steps with the curve and all that. I don't even remember. It was crazy.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah.
Sorry, just quickly, Lisa says a new podcast name, Assemble, Build, Play.
Yeah.
That's really the way to go. Josh says, stackable buildings, a man of like mind.
Yeah.
I think we've got a photo later on from Josh with some stackable buildings.
Sweet. Yeah, I like things like this. I release and then I hope that I still have customers afterwards, because I'm like, it's like you're crossing your fingers and it's like a wish and a prayer that people get it and can build it and are happy, and it's not like no one can assemble it.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that's. I think by this stage, somebody who's buying a spiral staircase, a laser cut MDF and acrylic spiral staircase from you, will realize there's going to be a little bit of work involved in this.
Yeah.
I would hope so. Anyway,
Yeah.
they'd realize that.
Yeah. That one's actually, it's surprisingly easy. I think it's easier to build than other parts of that building, though, because
Okay.
like there's like a rod that goes down through the center,
Right.
and then you just slot all the pieces. You just stack them up on a rod, and they're all cut so they can only fit on there the correct way. And
Okay.
then I think they're all numbered or something like that. Or I don't think it actually matters. You just have to alternate the stairs, and then you
Right.
just snap it. It has little clamps. You can snap it right along the outside. It's actually surprisingly easy to build.
That sounds fantastic.
Yeah.
Sounds really easy. That's awesome. And Scott says, "Hi, your mum actually your terrain.
Yeah.
You didn't stay true to canon, son."
Yeah.
No, that's fantastic. Yeah, really. Again, this is just that example of or other people might do a spiral staircase without
The railing.
so the railing around the outside.
Yeah.
It's something you sat down, you worked out how to do it, and
Yeah.
to make it look fantastic.
Yeah. And I got really lucky with that model too. It wasn't the best painted model, but his hand fit on the railing, and I was like, "That's perfect."
Yeah,
That's picture.
it does look great. Nicely done. That's cool. I think what I want to jump into now is just quickly work through. So you sent me some photos, some AI photos. Did you want to talk about those before the other process or after the other process?
That was you mentioned talking about some stuff of technology has come, how far technology's come for
Yep.
terrain and the miniature industry. So those are specifically for that.
Okay, so we'll come back to those then, and we'll do those at the end. And so, how about we jump into the, I guess the part of technology that that you've been tackling for the last 2 or 3 years, the like printing.
Yeah, the color printed stuff.
Color printed stuff.
Yeah.
So first up, I'm going to show a picture of the demo table that you took to Adepticon.
Mm-hmm.
So this is one. So this is a photo from your shop.
Yeah, from the shop. Yeah. Yeah.
Talk to me about this sort of demo table that you've taken in the past, and what's different about this particular one that we got in the photo.
So in the past, we took a similar table. It wasn't quite as tall, and there wasn't as much stuff on it. but it was all painted, and it always does it always gets a lot of people excited and interested because people love this kind of Neo Tokyo. Like a lot of Infinity players especially love the look of this set. But this was the first convention. This Adepticon was the first time that this whole board is color printed. So except for the actual surface they're all sitting on, the board itself is not color printed yet. That will be as well soon. But but everything else besides that, and I think the scatter, there's like the two the little barricades, those are painted as well.
Okay.
But
so when you say color printed, what do you mean by color printed?
So a lot of companies call it pre-painted, and like I don't care what people call it. It's not that big a deal to me, but I like to call it what it literally is, so that people understand what they're getting, or they don't feel like they're getting something different from what they were promised. Which is, so we use a UV printer to print an actual textured surface onto the MDF board, onto the inside and the outside. We do it on both sides.
Okay. And
so that any surface that's showing, it has already the colored texture on it, so you don't have to paint the buildings.
Okay.
And it's something that I avoided for a while because I loved painting buildings, and I like the hobby aspect and stuff. And then I've gotten way more comfortable with it recently because it's awesome, because I don't have to paint them all. And like, it took us, the coolest thing about this, and what I told everybody at Adepticon, was, so Tome is the one that painted most of our Zygon set, or Zygon set, the new stuff anyway. I painted a lot of the old stuff. And so this demo table we had at Gen Con, and it was all painted by him. And it took him a year of professional, full work weeks to paint that much terrain, like to this level, to studio level. And then it took me a day to assemble this board. So it was like a year of painting or a day of assembly. And you get, the edges aren't, you don't get painting on the edges, but you lose the edges in the overall visuals so fast. And so it's kind of been a crazy, it's like crazy advantage, really. Yeah. Like it changes everything, really, I think, because like for me to field a whole table at that visual level, like I said, it takes a whole year, and now I could just do a bunch of them.
Right. Scott's asking for some close-ups. What I'm going to show is I actually I kind of knew the process, but I wanted to get some images from Jay so that we could have a look at, to give a bit of an example of how this kind of process works. So the first image we've got here is the 3D render mock-up of the trash compactor. So just the bare MDF, what would be the bare MDF trash compactor?
Yeah. Yeah. And this is essentially how I design it. This is the end design of it, because this is actually a kind of 3 stages in, because when I'm designing a new kit, I'll kind of rough it out in 3D first. Like sometimes I'll sketch it out, or I'll collect a lot of reference art and stuff like that on what I'm making. But then I kind of rough out the shape in 3D, and I kind of play with it until I'm happy with the shape, and then just kind of do iterations of refinement on it. And then you have to export that 3D shape into 2D so that you can laser cut it, because the laser cutter, is all, it's all flat. Yep. And then that's where I do the detail, all the line, visual details, all the text you see on this image and stuff. And then I have to put that back into 3D for the instructions on how to assemble the kit. And so that's what you're seeing here.
Right. Oh, this is from an assembly.
Yeah.
Instruction. Cool.
So so it goes 3D to 2D, back to 3D, and then we continue on after that.
Cool. What do you use for, what 3D program do you use? Do you use
I just use SketchUp.
SketchUp.
I don't
Okay.
know that it's for free anymore. It used to be available by Google for free.
Okay.
But yeah, it's very trimmed down 3D program, and the reason I use it is because it's very fast and it's very loose.
Right.
So I can model very quickly. And if you were doing stuff for like game art or something like that, it would be a lot. It's not really that effective a tool. But since I'm just making essentially flat shapes put together, it's very fast at doing that, and that's why it's so good.
Okay, cool.
For me.
Hey, do you do basically you create the shape and then extrude it to the thickness of the MDF, the virtual MDF, and
yeah, I actually it's almost kind of like cutting down plates or cutting down sheets of MDF and doing it. Like I literally kind of work like flat plane by flat plane. Like I'll rough out the shape, and then I'll turn that shape into essentially MDF boards.
Right.
And then I refine them, and
cool.
then you just keep refining them.
Then just slide them together in appropriate points.
Yeah.
Move the connection points around, that sort of thing. That's cool.
Yeah, and the reason why doing it in 3D is so handy is because you can break the rules of physics. You know, you can have your things intersecting, and then figure out where the joints will fit perfectly and stuff like that.
And how they match up. So the next photo I have is of a painted version of the assembled trash compactor. Did you paint this one, or did Tom paint this one?
This one was painted by Tom. So probably last year, 2021 was the first year where I stopped painting stuff and Tom went full time to as our studio painter. Yeah.
Cool. So this is a very cool sort of thing. It's very much in the Warsenal style of painting that you and Tom have developed. And
I'm interested to hear what that style entails to you.
Well, there's a lot of gradients.
Mm-hmm.
So you get a lot of contrast across a panel. So from dark to light, you see in this particular one, the piece that goes up and over the compactor. Mm-hmm. So it has that rectangular shape on the side. You've got that going from like a black, sort of almost black, kind of dark blue down the bottom there, up to white at the top. All of your the green panels aren't quite as extreme, but you've got a lot of that going on. There's a lot of that panel gradation, which I think is the Warsenal style. Is that okay?
Cool.
You mind?
No. I was interested, you know.
Sure.
Yeah. We don't have like a style guideline. It's just Tom and I kind of feed off each other's painting style, and it kind of just evolved naturally.
Yeah.
So it's just fascinating for me to hear.
Other people talk about it. For sure.
Yeah.
There we go. Oh, John Steing is here. Hi, John. Great to...
The self-shading is fantastic.
Yeah.
It's actually funny because I forget when, early on, back when I was still with my partner, Bill, we got a review in, and he hid it from me because he didn't want my feelings to get hurt, because there's a couple gamers from Germany or something that said that my paint jobs were too cartoony.
All right.
Yeah.
Fantastic. I remember at some point where I was talking with Bill and said, "Hey, why don't you guys do like tutorials on how to paint the stuff, because it looks fantastic, and I'm sure like people are probably fairly intimidated by it."
Yeah.
And Bill said, "Well, the tutorial is Jay uses masks."
Oh yeah.
I was like, okay, fair enough. You laser cut it, you can laser cut masking and all that sort of thing. But yeah.
I did do that for a really long time, and then I stopped doing it when I started finding that using like Frisco film, like the little clear, it started being faster for me. But both I and Tom used so much masking. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the next image I have is I think it's one of the basically the artwork that would be printed on the MDF.
Yep.
So
this is painted by Tom as well.
okay.
Yeah.
Is
And
this,
that's why that's why the stuff looks a lot like the painted stuff, and why people can't tell the difference between the painted stuff and the printed stuff. It's because we paint the printed stuff just like we paint the painted MDF. We just do it digitally instead of manually.
Cool. Yeah, that was going to be my next question.
Yeah.
Is this? I was wondering if this was a photo of parts that were painted, or if this was digital painting.
No, it's digital from the ground up. We've done both. I haven't released any kits with the actual scans of the models.
Okay.
Like that he painted. Like for a while when we were still painting physically, we would scan everything in the hopes to be able to use that, or at least use it as reference.
Yeah.
And but I like at the beginning of this year or somewhere last year, when we moved over pretty much to the color printed instead of doing studio pieces traditionally, I taught Tom how to paint digitally, which is super easy because it's great. It's very easy to teach a great artist how to do a different kind of medium, as opposed to teaching someone who's good at computers how to be a great artist.
Right. No, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
But so the last image we've got here is the color printed trash compactor. So basically the assembled version of the printed spot.
Yeah.
So I think it looks fantastic.
Yeah. You still have to deal with the edges. I rack my brain. I'm still trying to figure out a way to handle that. The nice thing is you can actually paint the edges really easily.
Okay.
Because the final I don't want to take our product photos with the edges painted, because I want people, like, part of my advertising, and I want people to be like, this is what you get. Like, finally. We had a guy at one of my game distributors that used to make fun of me and told me that I sold lies, because like all the miniature companies sell lies, because you look at the picture of the beautiful studio painted model, and then that's not what you get. You get, an unpainted model.
Yep.
But so now I'm just super happy to be able to be like, this is what you're gonna get. Like, everybody gets this.
Yep. No, that's very cool. I'm just going to flick back to the. So this is the painted version. So the I say hand painted. There was an airbrush used in there, but this is the painted version, and
it's cool because there are some cool advantages that we didn't expect, and there's disadvantages too to the color printed.
Yep.
Like, one of the cool things is you get a lot more vibrancy.
Right. Yep.
And like the brights are so much brighter, and so that's cool. But then you lose a little bit of the matte too, because the printing has a little bit of a like I clear coat it so that it's very protected and has like very protected finish. That's one of the reasons why it's easy to paint the edges, because if you get paint over the top of the color printing, you can just wipe it off.
Okay. Cool.
It's got a clear coat on it. It's like essentially varnished.
Right. Okay. No, that's great.
Yeah. And the other cool thing is people have been using it online to take photos of put in the backgrounds of photos, because it photos up close extremely well, because all the detail, the super fine detail, is all like super fine. It's the edges are all real clean and stuff, and the text can be microscopic and legible.
Right.
And so it looks good, when you zoom up on it a lot, which is nice.
Yeah. Excellent. So there we go. Hopefully, Scott, that's giving you some of those close-ups. It's got some ideas for the printed pieces. If you head to warsen.al, so Warsenal, but there's a dot between the N and the A. There's a link in the notes below. You can go and check out Warsenal and have a look at Jay's huge range of terrain there. So at the moment, how much of it is in the color printed version?
So I think there's like I think around 5 or 6. There's it's probably around 10. There's like 10 kits right now, but at Adepticon I had a lot more. But Adepticon is hard we're a pretty small shop, so Adepticon is a very large endeavor for us. And then so we did Adepticon, and then we came back and we had a goofy April Fool's Day item that did really well, and so we've been caught up doing that. And so I actually haven't released. I'm sitting on like 15 more kits of it, and I haven't released it because I don't want to. Why we're still trying to get orders out the door. I don't want. I don't want people waiting. So probably a pre-release or something will go up for it very, very soon here, and yeah, so we'll have like 20 to 30 kits here, and then by around Gen Con that'll be even more. So
cool.
Yeah, we're hoping to have like a whole table's worth by the end of the year.
Awesome. That'd be great.
Yeah, and the cool thing of Gigan, the set that we're doing in this primarily, is it's kind of like Cosmic in the way that you can kind of mix and match buildings. So like even if there's not a huge variety of kits out yet, you can use different floors in the buildings to make different buildings or make larger buildings out of those components, so that the kits we do have released go a lot further.
Cool. That'd be great. Very cool. Okay. It looks like I didn't queue up the Minotaurs, but we're at 8:22 at the moment, so I think we're about time to jump in to have a quick run through of photos from the group. So what I'll get you to do is if you can post some photos of your Minotaurs, Space Marine chapter in the Facebook group, folks can check them out there.
Love to.
There's a link to the Facebook group below. Two other things that I need to throw in. I forgot to talk about these at the beginning of the show. Got a little bit distracted. But one of them is the Kickstarter for volumes 7, 8, and 9 of the Art of series. So Eric Swinson, Yanni Darley, and Katarzyna Gorska that Kickstarter is live now. It is running on Kickstarter. There is a link in the notes below. You can go and check that out. Jump on board, support us, and we'll get the next step on the journey.
Super excited about those books, Dave.
Yeah, they're going to be awesome. Absolutely, super cool. It was great. We had Eric on last week chatting. I know that Gianni is going to Warhammer Fest this coming weekend in the UK, and he's has a super huge sort of transporter. Actually, just for a second, I will switch back to us. There we go. Has a big transporter that he's built for Necromunda. So it's a big flying transporter that carries about 6 containers, like 6 shipping containers underneath. But he's built that and I think a 2x2 landing pad for it. So he's going to be entering that in diorama, I think.
Oh, sweet.
But yeah, definitely super cool. So I'm excited to see how that goes and see some photos from him the weekend. So there's that. So check out the Kickstarter, link below. And also, last week, Jake and I were talking about Cathy Wappel and Cathy's current situation. As Jake mentioned, she has an Amazon wish list, and what we would love to do is be able to buy everything on that wish list for her. So if the community would like to pull together, down in the link, down in the notes below, there is a little instruction there. We figured the best way to do it is to collect donations through PayPal. It's probably the easiest way for people to donate. And so we've got the Alpha Omega PayPal below from Jake. So if you're able to donate, please do so through that email address that he's got down there. And don't forget to put for Cathy in the notes, so he knows to separate that, pull that together and then we'll be able to buy a bunch of stuff from her Amazon wish list. So, excellent. Thank you very much. Now, should we move on to checking out some cool models from the community?
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
Let's do that. Okay. First up, we've got some Malifaux. Of course, these are from Bing Lee. Bing had to put these in on the week that Jake is away, so he doesn't get to see the cool Malifaux stuff going on. So I must admit, I'm not sure which faction these models belong to, but I can definitely see that Bing's had a lot of fun with the fluorescent paints.
Yeah.
Creating these awesome smoke elements. And that great glow onto the minis, too.
Yeah.
Looking super cool.
And purple and green, always good color combinations.
Yeah, especially that sort of very vibrant yellow-green.
Mm-hmm.
Scott, if you know what minis they are, you'll have to let us know. But they definitely look cool. That Malifaux does look strong. It's very cool. So you can tell us who they are, and also these ones. These are also from Bing. These are fantastic sort of burlap sack monsters. Again, I don't know the faction, but they do look awesome. And I love that they have hooks for hands.
Yeah.
You see that? Very nasty, but Oogie Boogie Man.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to think of
called?
from Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yep. I think of that feel, don't they?
Yeah.
Yep. Scott says, I don't play Malifaux. Nobody does. Just making my dudes to try and play one day. That day never comes. Well, if you're going to come to Adepticon next year, you can sign up for some Malifaux events.
Yeah.
Play some games with those people that don't actually play Malifaux. They're out there. Loads of people play Malifaux.
Yeah, that's the ballad of everyone that plays the smaller games.
Yep. Definitely. Fantastic work, Bing. Next up, Chris Gorka has this. I think this is an Infinity.
It is.
Mech. So what's this?
This is a Kaitak.
Kaitak?
I think it's called a Kaitak. All the Marats have they're aliens, so all their names are like Kurgats, Suryats, Yalgats.
Okay.
So yeah, it's like super hard to remember for anyone that's not crazy about Marats.
Right.
Luckily, I'm crazy about Marats, so.
Excellent.
Yeah.
But no, this is super cool. Another Whale says it makes me think of Deadpool. Definitely has that vibe. The red suit, the black eyes.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, and the pretty pink flowers, because that's definitely a Marat thing.
Yeah. It's also a very Chris Gorka style. That single pop of color in there. Although I think like the green he's got going on in the sword as well.
Cool.
Looks great. Next up, there's another piece from Chris. I think he's getting excited. I'm not sure if these are for him or for a commission, but with the recent announcement with the Lion and Lionel Johnson coming back and 10th edition 40k coming up.
I like how he painted the barrels silver like that.
Yeah. Oh, the front of them? Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
Yep. I imagine that all of the paint would have been scorched off at some point.
Yeah.
But no, these look great. Yeah, they do look very clean, don't they? Don't think he's put a lot of markings on them just yet. But looking good. Chris Weinstein posted a picture when we were talking about terrain technologies come a long way. So I was looking at this and thinking, oh, Chris has got a pretty cool setup there. And then I realized this is actually Ash Barker's setup for Guerrilla Miniature Games.
Nice.
Because he has that green screen background there.
Yeah. So those buildings are printed or pre-painted or printed as well, right?
I think so. I don't know if these are... I don't think these are the Monster Fight Club buildings. But of course, when we talked before about the boxes, rectangular boxes, when you're representing a rectangular box of a building, that's just fine.
Yeah.
They look cool there. And I think, who do we have next? Oh, okay. Next up
I'm happy to see some terrain.
Pardon? Happy to see some terrain?
Yeah.
Cool. Next up, we've got Chris Kemig. Has finished his Imperial Fist Praetor there. And
Nice.
so the last couple of weeks we've
yeah.
seen this without a head and advancing stages of weathering. But yeah, very cool black helmet there. The transverse crest. Looking awesome with the white and the red.
Yeah, I like the green too. It's like it's like a very teal green. It looks great with the yellow.
Yeah,
Instead of like the more kind of forest green.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, with the red and the yellow. Yeah.
Yeah, it works really well. Without doubt. So Conor Wales says they look like color printed flat pack foam core buildings. Possibly. But yeah. This one looks awesome. I think this is a versatile terrain nameplate on there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Always look good.
Yeah, they just look so good. I'm super intimidated because I want to do that to all my Marines, and I've named them all. So I have 200 named Marines, but I don't want to print and paint and glue on 200 name tags.
That's a lot. Yeah, I wouldn't do
Yeah.
it. Squad leaders.
Yeah.
There you go. Start with that.
Yeah.
And then you can
That's a good idea. Start with something, and then you can.
start with squad leaders, and then as models perform well during battles, maybe you elevate 2 of them per battle or something like that.
Yeah, that's a good way to do it.
Yeah, small bite-sized chunks.
Yeah.
Definitely looks good. Next up, we've got a piece from Jeff Smith. Jeff has been painting up some models from Judgment. So Judgment's the 54mm MOBA style game. So this cool Dwarf Slayer looks great.
So these are big models then.
Yeah. Yep. So this guy's probably about 40 mil high. I think that's probably a 40 mil base.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, there we go. Oh, Colonel Wales says, I say Colonel, is it Colonel or is it Cole? We'll find out. HQ and sergeants, and when epic moments happen, MVPs get plaques. Yeah, that's the way to go. And then he said, I think I laughed with that guy. Quite possibly. But Jeff has another picture of a Beastman Shaman that he posted in the Facebook group as well, so definitely head to the group and check that out.
I'm excited about that. I'm a long-term. I used to play Beastmen in fantasy, so
yeah,
excited about that.
Definitely go and check it.
Very
Josh Potter posted this terrain. So this is stuff that he's prepping. I think he's going to be doing some demos at Origins. And we have another photo, which is also great for the cat lovers in the room. So this is a piece of terrain that Josh put together for that same demo, and as he said, cat is for scale. I guess he was out of bananas at the time.
Yeah.
But it looks great. Yes.
Yeah. That's a thing in the Infinity community. There's one of our really big fans and someone that puts out a ton of really cool tables with our stuff, Jenny McGee, and she all her pics always have her cats in them.
Right.
So like it's a running meme, I think, in Infinity about cats and tables.
Awesome. Definitely cool. Lisa says so realistic. It is. It looks just like a cat.
Yeah.
But beautiful work there, Josh. All the best with the demo games at Origins. Next up, We have some more photos from Christian Simonson, some more of his Sons of Horus.
I'll have to stop by and see his table at Origins because I'm pretty sure we're going this year. So.
Oh, cool. Excellent. If Josh, if you're still in the chat, you can let us know where at Origins you will be so that Jay can swing by and say hi.
Yeah, awesome.
Yep.
Dave, what's the back banners for
the Vexillas?
The Vexillas, yeah, that Vexilla's banner looks ace.
It does, doesn't it? One of the things I love about this, one of the pieces you can get in the heavy weapons kits is an augury scanner. So the guy with that green glow coming up on his face, that's coming from the augury scanner, which is a piece that sort of sits on the wrist. It's like a wrist-mounted.
Oh yeah.
It's like a wrist-mounted iPad kind of thing, or an iPhone that sits out there. So he's definitely checking things out, preparing for deep striking opponents.
The eye on the one on the right too is super cool.
Yeah.
I guess it's like markings coming up from a augmentic eye or something.
Yeah. But Christian's done an awesome job. And last week we saw the side shot of his Kratos tank. And this week he wanted to show us just how grim and dark and dirty and weathered the Kratos tank is. So there we go. Definitely
awesome.
That looks super cool. Lots of damage, lots of rust and wear. Just as we'll have a large diorama. So you can't miss it. So keep an eye out for either the cat or that large piece of terrain that was behind the cat when you're at Origins, Jay.
Yeah, we'll do. Excellent. Yeah, this color always weathers so well, like a cool green. Yep. Always, because the rust, just always the contrast from the rust is always just so cool looking.
Yep. Lisa says, "I do not want to lick that tank." So mission accomplished. Absolutely. One of my favorite things here is the moon.
Oh yeah.
There, just that little. Is that the gibbous moon? I knew I meant to look it up beforehand, but it's the new moon.
Yeah, it's the stuff like that just totally sell a model. Like.
Yeah.
Just those little details, little focal points and stuff.
Yeah, looks fantastic. Dave Hummel has just joined us. Thanks, Dave. You are a little late. We were a little late in starting.
Yeah.
So you can go back and check out the show. It'll be. It won't take you too long. It'll be all right. But yeah, that looks beautiful. Excellent work, Christian. Keep up the awesome work on those Sons of Horus. And then finally, I got a couple of quick shots of this fantastic dwarf from Scott. Scott Reedham. Scott in the chat. Scott, where does this model come from? You'll have to let us know. But I think I recognize the base. The base is from Dragon Forge. I think I've used that base a number of times. But I really love... Scott's been messing around a lot with light and volume quite a bit recently. But it does look spectacular. Great reflections on the sword as well. That sort of steely blue towards the top and the brown towards the bottom. There we go. Used to be Massive Darkness, but now it's a resin line called Rage. Interesting. Mushrooms are from the Honor Guard.
Yeah, it's a nice subtle paint job too.
Yeah. Excellent.
It's like the opposite of how I paint.
I don't know. It has similar levels of the that contrast that I was talking about.
Yeah,
before.
that's true. That's true.
So at least like comparing this to your terrain,
yeah,
it's got those similar levels there. And what I've got here as well is a close-up of the sword.
yeah, this sword's great.
Out. But yeah, I really love this piece, Scott. What else is it? It reminds me of the box art dwarf with Hero Quest. OG art. He's got that feel, yeah. He's got that squat face.
It's also like it's like the highlights are very selective, and it like kind of pushes the overall effect in a really nice way.
Yeah, absolutely. Sculpted by.
It keeps the.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I was just gonna say keeps the focus like right in the middle and then up into the gem. It's just a nice highlight.
Yeah, definitely. Sculpted by Raul Garcia Latorre. I think he's from Alabama originally, going by his name. Possibly from Alabama. But yeah, fantastic textures in there as well. The leather texture, the pauldrons there.
I feel like that's the hip thing in painting right now is texture.
Texture? Yeah. Definitely. Been working on upping my game, so maybe one day I'll win a trophy, and my mum will love me. I'm not sure, Scott. Has she met you? We'll find out. But no, I think, you're definitely well on your way to picking up a trophy somewhere.
Yeah.
Absolutely awesome. Yeah, so when you come to Adepticon next year, I keep saying that. I'm going to keep saying it all the time. When you come to Adepticon next year, make sure you paint up something for the Resin Beast competition. You might be able to pick up a trophy and some cash. Pay for your trip. It'd be awesome. 35mm scale. Okay, so just a little larger than a normal dwarf, but yeah, looking fantastic. Move it back to the full shot there. Nice one. Really loving seeing these little sort of one-off pieces that you're doing each week, Scott. Keep pushing yourself.
Yeah, I feel like
looking great.
I feel like that's got to be a satisfying way to paint too.
Yeah. It's kind of a weird thing. I always there are a lot of times when I look at pieces like that and I go, I would love to just I want to do something like that. I want to paint a miniature where it's just I'm just painting the miniature for the miniature's sake. And I'm going to show this model that I've had on my desk for the last like year and a half. And it's still in the same state. It's there. I could just stick it on something and prime it and paint it.
Oh yeah.
But I'm too focused on like making tiny little boots for Terminators that might not ever see the table.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird. So I think well, I must admit I'm totally okay with where my hobby is at and how I'm going with it. And where my obsession lies. But yeah, it is staring at me. Where is she? She's right there.
That'll keep you happy, though. It'll keep you happy modeling your little boots.
Yeah, definitely. I'm glad that they're all on there. I'm just gonna hold that. One little green boot. The other boot came off the base just fine. This one, not so much. So, but yeah, all good. Fantastic. Okay. Well, we are at 8:44. Probably time for us to wrap up the show this evening. I think I'll just go and check and see if I had any responses to an email I sent. Fantastic. Okay. So next week, we're going to be joined by Alex and Brian. So Alex from Resnova Games and Brian CP Steele, who's written Warzone Eternal. I think next Tuesday their Kickstarter launches to bring that game back to life. So we'll be chatting with them, which will be super cool. The week after, we're checking. I will be away, but we're checking to see if there's another way that somebody else can take over the technical stuff so that Jake can still manage to avoid learning how to do it. We'll see how that goes. So prepare yourself. 2 weeks. It'll be all good. But we'll let you know next week exactly how that's happening. In the meantime,
with today, I'm the least likely candidate.
Possibly you might be. But as we've seen, it still takes me a little bit to get things sorted, and I've been doing it for the last almost 40 episodes, which is pretty crazy.
That is crazy.
I know, it's insane, isn't it?
Yeah,
insane.
That's awesome. Congratulations.
So Scott, we will be here next week, but then in 2 weeks, I will not be here. 2 weeks. That's the other meme of the show. I need to make a T-shirt with that. Just 2 weeks.
I got you, Dave.
Yeah? You make a T-shirt?
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah, super easy.
Excellent. They are indeed. Technical issues and streaming are strongly correlated. Keep an eye out for it. But no, thank you very much for joining us this week, Jay. It was super cool to talk about Warsenal and the things that you've done with it. Have a look at some of your process, talk about that. We didn't get to look at the templates that you do, the markers that you do, the tokens, that kind of thing. I know there was a photo you sent through. Looks fantastic. Make sure you pop that into the group as well. So some of the infinity markers. And again, just thanks very much for joining us.
It was awesome. Thanks so much for having me.
We'll try and have you on again in the future.
Awesome.
We'll see see how things go. Probably, I think Jake and I are going to try to work out how we can do a show from a convention.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
So Nova might be the place for us to try that.
I'll be there.
Yep, excellent. Yeah. So we might try and get you back on the show when we're at Nova. We'll see how we can go with that. It'll be an extra show because the show doesn't run during Tuesdays, but we'll work something out. It'll be fun.
Awesome.
Okay, so thank you very much, everybody. Thank you very much, Jay. We will see you all next week. And in the meantime, don't forget to build, paint, play.
And play.
Hooray! That was as awkward as usual. Nice.
Yeah.
Thanks very much, man. Okay, bye, everybody.
Shut up and sit down. Shut up and sit down. and sit down. Shut up and sit down. Shut up and sit down.